courage is so important because if you want to be successful in business, if you want to be successful in your marriage, if you want to be a successful husband or wife, it's going to take a lot of courage. Most of the good things that come to us in life take courage, okay? I think courage can be defined as doing what's right even when you're afraid. And I've talked to a lot of groups about courage, and I've trained actually a lot of young people about courage. And I've always defined it that way. If you're scared to do something, but you know it's the right thing to do, that's what courage is, if you do it. So you're afraid to do something, but you know it's the right thing to do. It's like running into the burning building, right? So the building's on fire, and you need to run in and save a baby, and you're scared to do it, but you know it's the right thing to do, so that's courage, okay? And, that analogy of that burning building can be a lot of different things for different people. So I remember I was doing it was like a 6-week program on courage and leadership skills for middle school age kids. And it was awesome. We all talked about our greatest fears. And so everybody had different fears. Some people had the fear of heights. Some people had the fear of, getting up and talking in front of people, which is a really big fear for a lot of people. And what we did was we kind of tried to figure out everybody's fears. And we talked about, if you want to get over that fear and you really want to move on past that, what you have to do is you have to face it. The way to conquer fear is to face your fear, okay? And so my fear is snakes, right? So I don't like snakes. So I'm not into snakes at all. A lot of you guys that have seen my videos before maybe have heard me talk about fishing. I like to fish a lot. Like I'm like a fishing freak, right? And I have a fishing channel and things like that. I have some spots where the fishing is phenomenal, but there's snakes all over the place. And they're not dangerous snakes. They're not like deadly snakes, but they still, they freak me out, and I don't want to be around snakes. So anyways, going back to this, I was doing this training for these middle school kids, and we're all talking about the fears, and I mentioned mine as snakes, and we didn't really get back to mine, and we talked about how to overcome them and how to face our fears. And so one day I show up to this class, and this kid, he's got this shoebox for me, and he's like, hey, Mr. Morris, take a look inside here. And I open the box, and there's a freaking snake in the box, right? I can't believe I didn't throw the box and freak out. So for the next several lessons, they brought that snake in. Sammy was its name, Sammy the snake. It was a little tiny boa constrictor snake. And for the next few lessons, every lesson I would get a little closer to the snake and a little closer to the snake. And at the last lesson, I held the snake. It was my first time holding a snake. And I can't say that I have completely overcome that fear, but it was a good step in the right direction, right? Facing that fear to overcome it. I can think of, and that's just one time trying to overcome fears, but we have these small fears in our lives too. Fears like, you have to make a phone call to make that sales call, or you have to confront your child with something that might be difficult. We have these different fears in our life, and the way to overcome them is just do it. So every time that I come across something in my life where I feel like I'm a little scared to do this, I'm a little hesitant to do this, I always say the same thing to myself is do it now, just do it now. I'm afraid to make that phone call, do it right now. Just last week, I had this opportunity, and I'm big into fishing, I had this opportunity to take my little kids on this ice fishing trip. And I had some fears going into that because one of my son, he's always wanted to go ice fishing, but he's only 3 years old. So he's just a little guy, right? He's only 3 years old. And he's never done it before. Then I was taking my younger daughter, and I was going to be helping a lot of other kids there. And in ice fishing, things can go bad really quick. It's very cold out sometimes. Somebody could fall in or fall on the ice. There's lots of things that could go wrong. I was very scared to do this. I was very hesitant. And I thought, I think this is one of those opportunities where I think it's going to be a good thing, and I just need to do it. I just need to overcome this and just do it. That day ended up being probably one of the best days of my life. My little 3-year-old caught a giant fish. It was a fishing tournament, and he placed in the tournament with that giant fish that he caught. And he keeps telling me how awesome it was. And Daddy, it was the best day of my life. It was so awesome. And, if I was scared and I didn't overcome that fear and I didn't just do it, what would have happened is I would have just sat home and we would have not had that amazing day. Now, you guys have different fears than I do, right? You have different anxieties than I do. But my advice right now would be conquer the fear by facing it. And if you ever have something where you're hesitant because you know it's the right thing, but you're a little scared, do it now. All right, once again, guys, Justin Morris. I'm the founder of Freedom Wave. I believe we're the easiest way to get your business online and get your business online success.